have a girlfriend, and for the most part, she supports me. But I think, now, since we have a kid, it's kind of taking a toll. So she doesn't want me to do too much. I mean, she won't tell me not to do a show, but there's the moments where I'll be like, oh, I got a show. Or I'll write all my shows down, and she'll look in the calendar, kind of work around it. But it's kind of at a point now, not like she's like talking crap or nothing, but she's like, can you not do too much? Especially since we have a kid.
For me personally, I don't know about other comics, but for me personally, I was married when I started comedy. My wife was very supportive. She thought it was great. My first show I ever did, she brought like 12 of her friends. So I had a great first show. First few weeks I did comedy, she'd bring a few friends, what have you, things like that. But what I didn't realize at the time, and what kind of screwed me up down the road, is I'd go to a show. I started just doing open mics. I'd go to one place, do an open mic, and that was it once a week if I could get on. She'd go with me. And the thing that screwed me up, that I was alluding to, is as soon as I was done, she wanted to leave.
We started dating around the same time that I started comedy, so she knew about the grind before, rather than me doing it, and then she just, it's a surprise to her. So I mean, that's a plus. But like I said, now she still supports me, and she'll tell me, like today, I almost didn't even come to do this open mic, but she was like, you can't back out of shows, you have to be able to go out, get your name out, and that way, people will start looking at you like, oh man, I should book him, or I should get to know him, do stuff with him. Like you make, basically network.
She wanted to leave. And I was okay with that because I was just like, I was brand new in comedy. Like, okay, cool, let's go. I did my set, I would go, I'd wait till my time, do my set, and leave. It took me like a long time to realize that because of that, I didn't get to know other comics. I didn't get involved in the scene. I didn't build connections. I didn't socialize with other comics, didn't get into the group, into the clique, so to speak. And I think a lot of comics actually looked down on me for that for a while because I would just leave when I was done. It wasn't meant this way, but it's kind of an arrogant thing. It's like, oh, my time's done, I'm going to take off. I don't want to stick around for everybody else.
I've met people through comedy, and they've gotten divorced because of comedy. I've seen relationships break up. I think, there was a point where I did break up, but we got back together. But yeah, you need a strong woman and an understanding woman. Because if they don't understand the grind, and they don't understand, because when you do this, you get addicted. It's a relationship. So you have to be able to balance this relationship, your wife and your mistress.
I'm sure there's ways to do it well and to balance it. I know a lot of comics do it, but the way I did it just kind of screwed up both my comedy and my marriage. Honestly, it just didn't work in either way. It set me back a little bit as far as comedy because I wasn't getting to know people. I wasn't doing other rooms. I wasn't getting other guys supporting me. And it set back my marriage because even though she was supporting me, she wasn't completely supporting me. She did want me to come home when I was done. So it kind of sucked in both regards.
She supports me so much that because on stage I will flirt with girls, and she finds it hilarious. Because she knows that I'm not trying to actually get with them. She knows that it's to get a laugh, and that's what I'm trying to do. So I mean, what was the question again?
You're answering it good.
Okay. I feel like I was going off topic.
If she enjoys watching you, she's supportive of you doing
She
comedy.
loves it.
Yeah.
She thinks I can go far if I really try.
Relationships are for suckers. They're never going to last. Love is an illusion. So I hope that answers that question.
A little bit. What advice?
Don't date comics also.
All right, well, tell me more about that. Why?
Comics, just by their nature, are kind of fucked up people. We're Chip Nicholson laughing in the background. We're kind of needy. We're kind of... It's this weird dichotomy of we need validation, but we're also a little self-centered. Everything's about us. So it's this weird duality of please like me because I need it, but also, oh, you should totally like me because look how funny I am. So, I mean, being a comic is strange. It really is.
Would she be upset if you picked comedy over hanging out with her?
She would kill me. And if I didn't tell her, I think I would be in the shithole. Can I say shithole?
Yeah.
It would be bad. I've never I've never even tried, because I know if I were to pick her or pick comedy over her, like especially if it was like a last minute thing, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, it wouldn't fly. I would get in so much. I would just sleep on the couch. I'd get yelled at for days. Oh man, it would be so bad.
Yeah.
And comedy was only a small piece of. I'm divorced. Comedy is only a small piece of why my marriage failed. A tiny piece, but I mean, it just sort of fits into the whole thing of communication. To have a successful relationship, you have to have communication. You have to know what you expect from each other, what you want from each other. You can't expect the other person to guess, oh, I want her to do this for me. I want him to do that for me. Communication is key. And going into comedy, being in a relationship, you have to communicate that. Say, listen, I'm doing this show. I'm doing these different shows. I'm doing open mics. When I go to these shows, I need to spend this amount of time there. I need to talk to these people. I'm going to go do other shows. You just have to sort of be upfront with how much time it's going to take, because it does take a lot of time.
I make sure I have all my stuff written down so I can show it to her. We have this big calendar at our house that I write all my shows in, so she knows. So she doesn't really have to ask me anymore. But yeah.
Do you guys have like a date night where you can't perform? It's got to be you guys.
It's not like a set date night, but like I said, since I have my stuff usually written out, we'll pick one of the days that I'm not doing anything. And we'll do something. We'll, even if it's just something little, just to be together, like take a walk, take her, like go to the store, like go to Target and walk around. That's the stage that we're at in our relationship, where our fun stuff is walking around Target.
If somehow I got into the relationship, I found someone who's like, oh my God, this is another person who I'm compatible with, and I really think something will happen, definitely think the relationship would take priority, but comedy would have to fit into that. I mean, that would almost be a deal breaker. Like if I met someone amazing who was like a quote unquote soulmate, which doesn't exist by the way, I would have to let them know that comedy is a priority for me, and they have to, if they don't support it, they have to accept it. They have to say, yes, this is something you're going to do, and I'm okay with you doing that. I'm okay with you spending time away, going and talking to those people, hanging out in those places. Because it's hard work. Even when you're not making money at it, just doing the grind, doing mics, it takes a lot of work, takes a lot of time.